Good morning, everybody. Hopefully everyone's well. Morning, James. Got a few people jumping on right straight up, which is awesome. Alina, Graham, DJ, James, good morning to you guys. Fantastic you can join me again. Welcome back to the regulars. Always awesome to have you guys here. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat team, gang. Wednesday, the 18th of August. Hope you're all awesome and well. Dino, Simon, Jay, Nick. A few people jumping on now, which is awesome. So fantastic. Sean, good to see you. Bradley, welcome. Great to have all you guys here. Hey, listen, for those who don't know me, if you haven't met me before, if you're new, Jason Whitten's my name, as it says on the screen there. And been property investing over 20 years. I think it's 22 years now or something like that. I was adding it up the other day. And been teaching and coaching and training property investors since 2003 with Sammy Saggers, my partner, business partner, and a whole team of awesome, amazing people across Australia and New Zealand. And each morning, get together with some cool people like yourselves, like Margaret and Laura and Brendan. Someone's Facebook user. They must be in the Facebook groups this morning. Good to see you. So if you're new, give us a shout out in the chat. Say new in the chat. Love to know if you're here. We always have a few of our new members joining the Positive Real Estate Coaching and Mentoring Program for property investors. So good to have all of you guys on today. So today I wanted to chat to you guys about maybe zooming out and having a look at the big idea, the aim. What's the major aim here and some of the moving parts of what we're up to when it comes to property investing. Because really at the end of the day, it can be broken down. It can be compressed into something reasonably simple from a quick snapshot point of view. But as we all know, the devil is in the detail in contracts and due diligence and so on. But sometimes we get, I don't know, anyone with me right now say, sometimes you can end up down in the weeds, getting all that sort of analysis paralysis all the way down in there. And you're like, what is going on here? Like, I'm just so confused now. 1,000 different articles, 1,000 different opinions, 350,000 properties on realestate.com. Your mind's blowing, What do I do? Where do I go? Like, how do I make this work? I don't know if anyone's ever been in there, right? So Brendan saying, yep, I've been there. Yeah, for sure. So good morning to Tony and Andrew and Christina and Felicity, who just joined us right now. So welcome, team. Welcome, gang. We're talking about maybe just zooming out over above the details and looking at the big picture. And what we're going to talk about today is exactly that. What is the big picture? What is the big picture here when it comes to our property investing? And what is the aim? What is the moving parts that we really need to sort of understand and get our heads around when it comes to, our property investment portfolio? So at the heart of it, let's have a look at what that might be. At the heart, there are four pieces. Only four pieces that we need to understand are going to affect our wealth, right? And the first piece is your income. That's the first piece. That's number one. All right. No income, nothing. For all of us, we need to understand what can we do to add value to our income. Is our income being used wisely? Are we wasting it? Are we leveraging it? Is our income maximum deployed into the market to get you some wealth that you desire? Number one, income. Number two, assets. And that is the simple above the line conversation. What income are you producing, team? What income are you producing from your job, from your side hustle, from your business, from your investments, right? What is that income and how are you improving it, making it more efficient, keeping more of those dollars, because it's about not what you earn, but what you keep? And then, are you putting some of those dollars, are you putting some of those dollars to work over here in the asset bucket? Okay. Now, it seems simple to say, doesn't it? It seems simple to say. Unfortunately, sadly, the challenge is for many of us along the way, there's some inefficiencies, there's some challenges, and there's some problems that we have to manage together. Okay. And what are they? What do they look like? And let's talk about them. Number 3, we need to understand about taxes. Okay. And we'll talk about it in a minute. We're exposed to a bunch of taxes in our world, and we need to minimize those legally to end up with more money in your pocket. Okay. Income turned into assets. When we purchase assets, sometimes those assets are taxed, and that minuses value, minuses wealth out of our world. But along the way, many of us have to use debt. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with debt. Matter of fact, team, debt used safely and wisely accelerates your wealth, accelerates your income. And I've talked about that before. Wealth use of smart debt, good debt is very, very powerful for you as a property investor. So this is what it looks like, team. This is the core. This is the aim. This is the main thing at the middle. Where's your income at? Are you turning it into assets? Are those assets producing some wealth, and you're minimizing the taxing of those assets? Because, let's face it, team, everyone wants a piece of your money, right? Everyone's got their hand out. The banks have got their hand out. That ATO's got their hand out. The local government's got their hand out. Everyone's got their hand out, and they want a piece of you. Unfortunately, we've talked about this Monday to Friday. And then what debt are you using? Is it smart debt? Is it good debt? How are you using that? Are you using it wisely? All right. So let's have a look at this. Let's have a look at the next layer out. All right, income. What can that income be? Let's talk about. It's not a very good color, that one. Let's use a better color today. All right, let's use this one. Let's use the green. Green equals the dollars, yeah? All right. Okay, income. What's your job? Okay, can you increase that income at your job? Many people I've talked to before often don't realize if you get another $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 increase in your income in your job, if you can get paid more, if you can move to a better job, if you can upgrade yourself to a better paying career, your wealth and assets move and build faster. Do people have businesses? And can you make that business operate better, faster? I'm part of 2 business acceleration groups, and I have been for many years. I've self-educated in this space for over 25 years. That's how I got into investing. I went to a seminar by Robert Kiyosaki and his property guy called John Burley. Okay, that's how I got into investing. What are you doing to improve your ability to accelerate your job income, your business income, your investment income, So you can get income from, obviously, properties for rent, but also shares and other things as well. And can you be self-employed, like contractor? So it's not like, sometimes it's not starting a full-blown business, but sometimes many of us can be self-employed, contracted, and we can create more income, more flexibility in our income. We can pay for our expenses before tax rather than after tax, and so on. So good question mark. But the question is, what are you doing? What are you doing to improve this? Because this is the foundation that allows us to put more money into the asset side of the equation to create our wealth. Okay, hopefully everyone's following along here, all right, as we're talking about this. What assets can we invest in? All right, that's pretty straightforward. Property. I'm a big fan of real estate. All of you guys are big fans of real estate too, I'm sure, but it doesn't mean that's the only thing, right? You can invest in the share market, okay? Many of us are all exposed in one way, shape, or form, directly or indirectly, to the share market. Property and shares, understand them. What's the big picture? What percentage of your wealth are you going to have in property? What percentage of your wealth are you going to have in the share market? Maybe you invest in some local businesses. I've invested in other businesses as a shareholder, not as a worker, not as a doer. So I get income from those businesses, which is awesome. And have you got any cool ideas? Intellectual property. Can you write a book? Can you do something, right? These things are assets as we go forward, all right? What are those assets? You know, the easy ones at the top, property and shares, they're easy, as in not hands-on. The ones at the bottom, businesses and intellectual property, they're a bit more active, okay, as you have a bit of a look at what this might be. And then taxes. Team, gang, how many taxes are we exposed to? Chuck it in the chat for me. Hopefully you're following along. What are the taxes that we as investors are exposed to that we need to learn to minimize? The top is about maximizing, right? Maximize your income, maximize your investments in your assets. Turn spare cash flow into wealth. Spare cash flow gets stored in assets, properties, shares, businesses, intellectual property. It gets stored there like a chipmunk stores away, nuts for the winter, team, gang. But our little storage system in property creates income. It creates capital growth. It creates tax deductions, which is brilliant. It gives us leverage. Nick nailed it straight out of the gates. Boom, Nick. All over it. All over it. Jace. Yeah, well, I don't think I want to sell out of your mind, Jace, but, there you go. Selling body parts is a side hustle. Now, you only get one shot at a kidney, I think. But here you go. Now, listen. Nick nailed it, right? Income tax. Income tax. We can all minimize our income tax. You guys know this. If you don't, you should. And how do you do it? Well, property is the best for minimizing income tax, okay? And I'm not going to go through that today. Every single one of you, if you are PAYG, you have a job, you can minimize your tax pretty close to zero, team gang, if you have a look at it, right? Income tax. We need to know how to minimize income tax. We need to know how to minimize stamp duty. Stamp duty. Oh, what do you mean minimize stamp duty? Team, do you know how to pay 50% less stamp duty? I know a few of you guys will answer that, boom, straight on the chat. It's buy land and build a house because you only pay stamp duty on the land. Did you know right now you can go to Victoria and you get 50% off the stamp duty, okay? There are ways to minimize the expenses in investing. You need to know them. You need to know stamp duty. We need to know how to minimize those. Land tax. Land tax. Holy dooly. Eh? Not only do they want to jib you on the way in with a bit of stamp duty, Laura's onto it, land tax. They want to jib you on the way out or along the way. On top of land tax, you've got your rates. Now, real estate is reasonably taxed, but if we're smart, and we are, we know what we're doing when it comes to minimizing our expenses, our taxes, team, as we go along. And then capital gains tax now it's usually unlikely that we as property investors are directly exposed to GST, okay? But capital gains tax, CGT, oh, there we go, make sure it's on the screen, CGT, we're exposed to capital gains tax all the time if we're selling. And if we're not, buy well, never sell. You guys know what I say. Buy well, never sell. This is the drill. Now, there's the taxes, gang, all right? Okay? Manage them, understand them, minimize them, okay? This is the drill, all right? Now, let's go over to this next bit. Debt. What debt can help us go forward? What debt can hold us back? All right? Because debt's a two-edged sword. It's a dangerous beast if you don't know how to manage it when it comes to you and your investing. Okay, and I'm going to call this consumer debt. Okay, consumer debt means credit cards, store, like pay later things. I don't know what those pay later things are. Whatever it is, lay-by. That's showing how old I am now, isn't it? Lay-by. Anyway, I'm sure someone will come up with it. What's the thing where you pay later? Consumer debt. Think of that. That's what they call it, consumer. It consumes you. Credit cards, HEX debts, furniture bloody loans, like all this stuff. That debt is poisonous to your wealth. Team, gang, it is absolutely, I call it the crack cocaine. Everyone gets on it because you can buy stuff, right? Afterpay, boom. Thanks, team. My Lord, get off the gear. Team, it's not good for you, okay? Your home loan, your principal place of residence, your home debt is actually not a great debt, okay? It's not tax deductible. It doesn't create you any income. One thing that your home does is often it goes up in value. And if you're not using that equity, then again, we've talked about this, it's lazy, it's useless for your wealth creation plans, to be honest. So think about that. Consumer debt, personal owner-occupied debt doesn't add any value to your life unless you're understanding how to use that asset of your home safely. However, these debts, investment debts, okay, that's where we buy properties. That's where we can buy shares, okay? You can buy properties, you can buy shares. The leverage, the lending, the debt on properties is way easier and way better than the debt on shares. I probably wouldn't do debt on shares ever because they're so volatile. Unlike property prices don't go up and down as fast as shares, but that's not what I'm talking about today. Investment debt, big tick in the box. This one's are like, no, don't have it. Consumer debt, all right? And last but not least, business debt, okay? And depending on if you're in business or you're not in business, you understand what that means. So, team, there you go. A little bit of a quick overview today on what this might look like when it comes to you and me as property investors and what our aim is. Trying to get that to fit. There we go. It's not fitting today, but anyway, I'll adjust that tomorrow. But hopefully that makes sense, gang. You know, the big picture. Where's your income at, and are you using it to buy assets? That's not a hard concept to get our heads around, right? But if we're down in the weeds, we get a bit lost sometimes. Are those assets producing something, growth, income, and whatever? And what inefficiencies, expenses, costs come out of them? Taxes and debts are the main ones that we got to keep an eye on that can erode our returns, erode our confidence in the whole concept and the idea. So, team, there you go. Bit of a quick overview today on big picture. What does it look like? What's the aim? And hopefully that landed for some of us, or was a good reminder or a little bit of a refresher of where we're at. Like sometimes if we're down in the weeds, just take a breath, step back, and zoom up and look down on what things might need to look like and what things are important for us as property investors to get right and keep focused on. All right, well, listen, team, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done and dusted for Wednesday, the 18th of August. Thanks for joining me. You guys have been awesome. Thanks for hanging out. Great to see all of you guys here. As always, chuck something in the chat if you want me to answer any questions or maybe have a Wealth Coffee Chat about something that's on your mind in the future. And join me tomorrow around about the same time. 8:05 seems to be a good number for me at the moment. That's really, the timing's about right. So 8:05, Monday to Friday, quick Wealth Coffee Chat, and we can share a few things as we roll along. All right, team. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for joining me. You guys have a great day too, and bye for now.